Hello, everyone. Welcome to our In the Know, which is a series that digs into the details of the 2025 World Conference. My name is Jenn Killpack, and I serve the church as Director of Communications. Our behind-the-scenes crew today is part of the communications team. We have Becca Loving and Kristen Mackay giving us support today. My co-host, Susan Naylor, is unable to join us today, but I'm really thrilled to have a special guest with me today. Sandee Gamet is a retired employee and volunteer extraordinaire. She's organizing the online exploration sessions that we'll talk about a little bit later. Thanks for joining us, Sandee.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for the invitation, Jen.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk a little bit about legislation, about the items that are coming to the World Conference, and how you can learn more about the different things that are coming up for discussion. If you're not aware, there are 14 pieces of legislation that have been submitted by mission centers and World Church standing teams, and you can read those items online at seaofchrist.org/2025 World Conference legislation, and also they are printed in the January-February Herald. So I'm going to pause for just a second and show you where to find these. And I'm going to share screen, which I'm never quite super good at. And here we go. Okay, so if you are on the seaofchrist.org website, you can go to Connect, and then under Events, the 2025 World Conference. And then from here, you can either click Documents or scroll down to Legislation. And here you'll have the opportunity to quickly kind of see what the actual piece of legislation is. If you click on that, then you can read the resolution, and you can do that for all of the items that are proposed to the conference. And then the other thing that you can do is you can read background statements and support statements for each one. So that is a PDF. So in this case, you can see the resolution and the background statement, and then also the support statement. And this is all in one particular PDF, so you can just scroll through and read the items that you're looking for. So Sandee, I don't know if you're willing to tell us a little bit more about these two pieces of information, the background statement and the support statement, and how those kind of help people's understanding of the resolutions.
Yeah, the background statement's intent is to share factual information. So factual information that gives context. What motivated this resolution from even coming to be created? So what was the process? Sometimes there's information about what thinking did they go through before they decided the resolution was something important to bring before the conference. So that gives that context. Sometimes we wonder when we have a resolution, well, where did it come from? Why was anyone interested in this happening? So I think that's helpful. The support statement, you can think of as the first affirmative speech that's made on the floor for people to be encouraged. I do want to make it clear, though, that having a support statement there does not indicate that there's world church support for it, that it just is the creators, presenters of this resolution created this statement.
Thank you. I think that's really important info, to help people have an idea, whether you're a delegate or not, so you know what's coming before the conference.
Definitely.
I think you mentioned too that it just kind of helps create and give context where these things are coming from, and really why they're important to the groups that are bringing them forward. So
exactly.
We haven't always had those statements, and I think it really does help just your understanding of why someone would want to bring this to a conference.
Yeah.
In preparation for the 2023 conference, you helped what you helped run kind of what turned into a giant experiment that we called exploration sessions. And I think everyone agreed that it was wildly successful. And I'm super excited that you've agreed to do that again for this conference. Um, so, creating a series of exploration sessions, why don't you tell us a little bit about what those sessions are and why people might want to participate?
Okay. Well, first of all, we have about 50 volunteers that are involved in this. For every session, we have 2 facilitators and 2 Zoom hosts because there's a lot going on. And in case someone accidentally can't get in or is sick that day, then we've got people to cover all the spots. So I am so grateful for all the volunteers who are giving their time to make this happen. So the exploration sessions are an opportunity for people all over the church to come together and to share their thinking, questions, concerns about a resolution. It's an online session that's through a new platform or a different platform called Zoom Events. So it is a little bit different to get in, but all the instructions that you get when you register and all the information that comes out from Zoom Events. Last conference, when we did this for the first time, and we had our orientation session for our volunteers, we had a really interesting time of not getting people in. And so we learned a lot. So, and this year when we had our orientation, every single person who was coming got in. So I think we got it.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So I think that's good news for all participants who want to join once they've registered. But, often we're in just our own small group in our own congregation or mission center, or maybe we're simply don't have a local congregation that's easily gotten to. And so having the opportunity to hear from people from all over the church. Last conference, we had people from Europe who joined us. So we really had a wonderfully diverse group of people who came to share their thoughts. It's intended to be safe and open. And so in order to have that opportunity, we have guidelines and information that people will get when they register, and they need to read it before they register, know what they're getting in for, help to explain what the expectations are for participation. So guidelines are really helpful. We also have facilitators, and they just help guide the process through questions. And so a question will be posed, and then the group will go into breakout groups. Breakout groups will be between 4 and 6 people. So you will have enough time to be able to share your thoughts and questions and get acquainted. And these small groups are the same throughout the time that you're together for the session. And the session is an hour and 75 minutes. So we try very hard to keep within that hour and 75 minutes to honor everybody's time who's coming to these sessions. When the session is going, it's recorded. And we'll talk about that a little bit later about what we do with the recordings. Here's the really important thing. You need to come prepared. In other words, please read the resolution before you come to the session that you've signed up for. There will be a link on the page that lists all the different resolutions you can register for. And that link, I would encourage you, it's really important. Go to the link, read the information, because it tells you what the guidelines are, the expectations for participation, so you know what you're signing up for. It's a great opportunity, and I didn't hear, we had over 600 people who participated, and we didn't have any concerns or comments in regard to their participation last conference. So I think that's a good sign for how well it went and how people appreciated the process.
That's great. I think with so many items coming to the conference, let's like take a look at the schedule of exploration sessions and kind of run through that so people have a sense of what that is. While I'm getting that ready, I did see that we had one question about whether or not these sessions would be available in French and Spanish. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what opportunities are available there?
Yes, we have the sessions all translated. And basically the sessions, what that means is we have a PowerPoint that guides the process. So the facilitator follows a PowerPoint, a presentation. It shows the question, it shows when breakout groups are going to happen. So they're not facilitated. It's a PowerPoint that's available for anyone, French speaking or Spanish speaking, and English speaking, to use in their areas in order to have this experience of sharing. All of the apostles, particularly the multi-nation apostles, have received these PowerPoints. So if you want access to them, you can either ask me and I'll be sure to find the way to get it to you, or contact your apostle, because they do have those and available for anyone outside of anywhere in the United States, anywhere outside of the United States, to be able to have this experience. The French and Spanish, you would create your own facilitators.
Great. Okay, I'm going to share screen again, hopefully a little bit more smoothly. And here we're back on the homepage again of seaofchrist.org. And if you go out to news right now, we are going to also create a link from the World Conference page. But from now, you can come down here and see the news item called Online Exploration Sessions. And this gives you all of the details that we were just talking about. So today, we'll be adding the link that Sandee just referenced that includes the expectations for participation and also some more information about registration, just some details and how-to tips. But here's the general schedule. So you'll see with the amount of items, Sandee and her team determined that instead of doing one piece of legislation per week, which would have lasted for months and months, they decided to go to 2 items of legislation per week. So Sandee, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the schedule. I can just scroll as you're talking if you'd like.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't sure that I would be able to keep my volunteers for 14 weeks. So we thought, how do we do this equitably for each resolution? And so what we decided was an earlier in the day time for a resolution and an evening time. So for instance, you'll see Monday has an earlier daytime and Tuesday has an evening start time. These are all central time. So everybody needs to transfer that information to their calendars according to the time zone they're in. Now, the really nice thing about the Zoom events, the invitation you'll get after you register, is that it will be in your time zone. So it will say, you have registered to participate in such and such a resolution, and then it'll say the time, and the time will be your time zone. So it's a nice remember that will be included that way, rather than it won't come in just central time. So it will be applicable to you wherever you are. So that's the same Monday, Tuesday earlier, and Tuesday evening later. And then Wednesday, I think Wednesday is evening, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then Thursday is earlier in the daytime. So that's how we determine the times. We also looked at participation last year, and so that we were choosing times that seem to fit people's schedules as they signed up for.
Excellent. So you can see week 1, the first sessions begin on the 10th of February. So the first session runs the week of the 10th. And then the last session is the week of the 24th of March and ends on the 27th.
Yep.
So quite a lot of opportunities to learn and grow. I'm going to take just a second. As Sandee said, you will need to register for these events. So I want to take just a minute to walk through that. So here is the register link. And when you click that, you're taken to our Community of Christ Zoom event hub. And you can see here each of these kind of dark burgundy kind of colors. Each one is a separate session. And you will need to click on the sessions that you want to attend. And once you click on that, it opens it up. And you can, oh, I already registered for this one, so this doesn't work for me. Ooh. I don't think I registered for this one yet. Oh, I did that too, because I'm the host of all of these.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. Here, let me sign out.
While you're doing that, Jen, I noticed that there was a point made that the time shows that they're an hour and 45 minutes, and I said an hour and 75 minutes. That was wrong on my part, misspoken. It's an hour and 45 minutes. That is the time for each of the sessions.
All right, let's see if I can pretend like I am new here. Okay, so we're back to the hub. So I'm going to see if I can register for G2. Here we go. So this is what it looks like if you have not registered already. You can register with a Zoom account, or you can register with an email. And once you click that, I'm going to register with my Zoom event. It shows me, this is like kind of my ticket. I confirm my registration, and then it will email me a calendar event. And it also, it has this little button here that says add to my calendar. So I can go ahead and add this directly to my calendar. And that's what Sandee was mentioning, where it automatically adjusts your time zone for you. And then that will be there, and that's how you can get the link to actually join.
So it's really important to know that the confirmation email you get is from Zoom events. It is not from Community of Christ. It's not from me. It's from Zoom events. And so don't think it's spam and it might end up in your spam or junk mail if you don't get a confirmation fairly quickly after you've registered. So it's going to be from Zoom events. Just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, perfect. Sandee, so what if someone can't attend one of the sessions that they're interested in? Is there a way for people to participate later?
There's not a way for people to participate, but there is a way to gain from the session that was held. So every session is recorded, and the recordings will go to one of the folks that we have used before. I think it's going to be Joey that's going to pull all the summaries together for us, Joey Williams. But he will see the recorded session, and then he takes, at the very end of every session, all the small groups create a summary of important points that they want to share with the larger group. And we thought that was really important because you're going to hear from 4 to 6 other people, but there might be 20, 40 people in your session. So what did they gain? What did they hold up as something really interesting, or questions or concerns that they had? Questions and concerns are just laid out. They're never answered because there's no expert on the session that you're in. This is not about a Q&A with an expert. So it just helps everyone know that, well, maybe my question is held by other people, and maybe that's something I should consider about bringing up when it comes to the Flora conference. So the summaries in at the end are about 2 minutes each. So if there are 4 groups that have met on that particular session, then those summaries will be put together, consolidated, and along with the second session. And so you're going to hear 8 different summaries that will come together. You're only going to hear audio, and it will only be the reporter's voice. So in order for people to feel safe and open to be able to be authentic about their expressions, there are so the videos, names of participants, the name of the reporter, none of that is shared. You're just going to hear a voice share the information. But people did go in and listen to those summaries last conference, and I think that was helpful for those who couldn't participate otherwise.
Yeah, that's a nice way to at least get a sense of what the discussions were like, even if you can't attend and participate.
Yeah, get your own thoughts thinking going.
Yeah. You could probably also use those, in another setting, even like at a congregation or a small group.
Oh, definitely. That would be, kind of conversation discussion starters. And those will be available. They're not going to be available immediately. It takes time to put all that together. So at some point, there will be an announcement, I'm assuming, Jen, that will indicate that they're available. They'll be on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think last time we may have created a link, underneath each of those things, like that said this was the summary of that particular session when those things were available. So
I think that's right. Yeah.
We'll go back and revisit what we did last time and try to mirror that.
Great.
Anything else that you want to share about the exploration sessions before we kind
of? Well, I don't think so. I think just the fact that, they have been really, really helpful, and that it's important to be prepared, come to participate. And when you come to participate, one of the guidelines is you come to participate. So we don't have any observers. That doesn't make it safe. If a person is in a small group and one person remains silent, then the other people are not feeling as comfortable in saying what they have to say because they don't know what's going on, in the mind of this other person who isn't sharing. So participation is expected by everybody who comes to these sessions.
Nice. So while we're talking about legislation, I did see a question in the chat about whether these sessions were scheduled in prioritization order. And the answer to that is no, because the prioritization order was not in place. That information had not yet been all collated from the mission centers.
And we chose not to do it that way on purpose.
Yeah. So the sessions, I think, are basically like kind of in alphabetical or numerical order, right?
Right. Yeah.
I will say, though, that today information about the prioritization results in the survey is posted. It went out this morning, a little bit earlier, and that was information that was collected in late 2024. So the presidency really considers prioritization a really important part of the legislative process, and they decided to use a process similar to the one that was used at the 2023 World Conference. As we shared earlier, there are 14 pieces of legislation that have been submitted. And in addition, there was an item on the survey called Z1, Prophetic Imagination. Really, that's an opportunity to vision about the future with the Leadership Council and World Conference participants. So that was another item added to the prioritization list. So each mission center was asked to prioritize those 15 items that would be considered at the 2025 World Conference, and feedback was requested before the end of 2024. Input was received from 59 mission centers with an estimate of over 700 people participating from around the world. There were a number of mission centers that used the online survey, and a smaller number created their own process and then submitted their results as a set of data from that mission center. So the final priority list is posted based on all that input at seaofchrist.org/news. And in our next session of In the Know, we're going to talk a little bit more about schedule. And you'll get a chance to see why legislative time is at a premium this year and how prioritization of legislation is even more important for this conference. So I think I have time. I'm going to go ahead and share screen and pull that announcement up so you can see it as well. Here we're back to our exploration sessions. Again, connect and news. If you're looking for news, and here's the prioritization survey results. I think you can see that okay. I'll load up a little bit. Oh, that's better. Okay. So interestingly, budget and audit process was the first item of priority. Prophetic imagination. Then we've got G3, G12, A3, G5, G1, G4, G11, G10, G2, G6, G7, G9, and G8. So again, you can find that information at seaofchrist.org/news. It is a PDF. It's available in English, French, and Spanish. So I think today that wraps up our discussion on legislative, a few legislative items, and most importantly, exploration sessions. Sandee, thank you so much for being here with us today and for organizing this really immense opportunity for people to participate.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And I just want to put in a little piece about discussion sessions in person on Friday of World Conference.
Yes, please. Attend them. They will be happening.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are maybe not quite as clued in as Sandee and I, we will have discussion and information sessions on the Friday prior to the official start of World Conference, or the opening session of World Conference. Those will be Friday afternoon. I think there's a session at 1:30 and then another one a little later in the afternoon, 3 or 3:30.
Yeah.
And that's all on the schedule.
Exactly.
So I hope that you all will get signed up for some exploration sessions, make
Please.
plans to be at conference on Friday to join some of those discussion sessions, and check out the full prioritization results posted online today. Thanks again, Sandee. Thank you to all of you who joined us today. Don't forget, you can always find World Conference information at seaofchrist.org/2025 World Conference. And we look forward to our next In the Know, which is Monday, February 10th. And we'll be talking in depth about schedule.
And that's the first day of exploration sessions.
And the first day of exploration sessions.